Ooh. That's right.
I say more dumb things before 9 a.m. than most people say all day.
I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
Yeah, put what team you represent in the comments.
Life is not that complicated. You get up, you go to work, you eat 3 meals, you take 1 good shit, and you go back to bed. What's the fucking mystery?
Thank you, Chad.
There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious.
Sell the team, bro. Sell the team. 1957. Ain't won shit since 1957. They need to sell the team. They ain't never gonna do nothing. Same old lines.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm hoping that this is going to sound a little bit better today. Great to see you in there, Chad, and the bad guy. Yeah, football talk. Football talk with Russell Wayne in the house. It's the off-season. Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all. You know, I'm the one that likes the music. This is Football Talk. Football Talk with Russell Wayne. I am your host, Russell Wayne, and we're broadcasting live right now, doing the duties, broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions news. And we are broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions villain squad. We appreciate anybody that's out there. That's a football fan in the afternoon during the off season. You guys are doing it right. Becoming a football fan. Hit that like button. Support our page and join the conversation, because that's what we're doing, is we're going to conversate 365 days a year. And here we are. We are day 2 into the NFL Combine. Let me turn this down a little bit right here. I got this a little bit too loud, though. Maybe not that much. About right there. Let's go there. We're in the middle of the scouting combine. We're trying to make the team better. Chad is saying we need a number. We need a number 1 corner. And somebody opposite Hutchinson after that. And I agree with that. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Tell me how you think we should make the team a little bit better. right there. Fred Peterson in the house. That is our Patreon right there. It's a great day to be a Lions fan. One pride. How the hell is everybody doing out there? It is hump day, right? It's Wednesday. Right in the middle of the week. We're in the middle of the scouting combine. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell spoke today at the combine. What were your thoughts on that? What were your thoughts on the combine today? How do you want to make the team better? Because to me, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a second here because I'm gonna be the transparent guy. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm gonna go out, watch a bunch of tape, and understand more of that. I know the football game. I know how the football game works. But I'm not gonna pretend to know, levels and angles and why this guy's bend is better than that guy's bend. All I know is that they got these guys ranked right now. And free agency is going to be the first move that makes our team actually better first. But I don't mind talking about these guys. These guys that are in the combine. You want to see us draft a cornerback? I've been throwing some good cornerback stuff up there, but it's going to be in free agency first. It's going to be in free agency first. What type of moves do you think they're going to make? He had said today, Brad Holmes, like you don't want to go and just grab these guys from the outside of the organization. You have your guys here. You trust your own guys. Why wouldn't you trust your own guys? You've drafted and you've developed, and now you're seeing a track record of being able to develop talent. And now you want to sign your own guys. Now, I don't mind some of these guys that are in free agency that are out there. If you want to tell me, hey, let's get some Jalen Johnson in here. Let's get some Snead. Let's spend some money. Because Over the Cap has us listed at about $57 million for the Detroit Lions and their cap situation. $56 million. It seems like they go down $1 million every day and they're not even spending any money. But no, they got about $56 million available. And then you got these guys that are available. You got Jalen Johnson, Snead, Kendall Fuller, Joby Awuzie, Stephon Gilmore, Steven Nelson, Kenny Moore Jr., Adoree Jackson, Kayseon Nixon, Sean Murphy Bunting. Are we going to bring back Emmanuel Mosley? How about Miles Bryant? Ronald Darby, I know that name. I'm not going to pretend to know all these guys. But these are the top guys that are available. These guys have guys with experience. Guys with experience. I think that's going to mean something. Guys with experience. Chad says that Snead will be 18 plus million. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know which one of these guys. But here's the thing is you can make your team better right here. Christian Fulton, there you go. That's a full page of the top 175 players. These guys are in there, And you're right. Fred's in the comments right here. Mosley will be a Lion next year for sure because they won't have him. Mosley owes us. Yeah, Mosley was a good person in the locker room from what I heard. So I don't mind the Mosley one. We're looking at these guys. Snead going to cost you $18 million a year. Kendall Fuller, I mean, if you could get him at $10 million a year, would you go for it? 5'11", 198. I mean, there weren't a lot of bright spots on that Washington team. This right here, this is one of the love affair of one Jeremy Ballrick, who has his show at 11 a.m. now. He does the morning show, and he loves a woozy, and you can get him cheap. You know, if you can get these guys a little bit cheaper, if they give you a deal. He's coming off an ACL injury, so Brad Holmes should love him. Stephon Gilmore, that's one that's on my radar right there. I mean, even if you're drafting guys, you need experience. Cornerback's a little too hard to just come in the league and just be like, you know, not everybody's Sauce Gardner, okay? You know, not everybody comes right in and hits right off the bat. And I know that Lion fan is intoxicated with the fact that we had some top 100 players coming in day one. You know, Sam Laporta. What's up, water boy? You could save money in paying the rookies. We can save money. Waterboy said that they should just draft them like they've been doing. Yeah, I love that call. But you got the money to spend. You got the money to spend. And you got some guys that you got to bring back. No problem with that. But Lion fan, us, Lions fans, we're not used to this. We're not used to having a bunch of money like this. This is an obscene amount of money. $56 million. We don't have to do anything with Jared Goff. That's one of the things we haven't touched on a lot here. It's because everyone's like, oh, we need to sign Goff. Oh, and we need to not sign Goff. It's not like a decision that even has to be made right now. Jared Goff don't need to be re-signed this year. I mean, I think it's disrespectful not to do something to his contract this year and get him some guaranteed money. Same thing with Taylor Decker. But this is a business. You know, the business part isn't going to change the way any of these guys are playing. So, I love trying to make this team a little bit better, and there are opportunities to do that within the draft and free agency. And free agency's coming first. And we've looked at some of these cornerbacks, but we can also look at it let's look at some edge defenders, and we'll even throw in some interior defenders right there. And this is what we have to look at. And this is what I'm going to do on a daily basis. We'll talk about these guys, all these guys. It's going to be the same regurgitated guys over and over and over again, and we're going to look at them. We're going to look at the opportunities to have these guys on your team. I mean, these top guys, I don't see the Lions coming in and paying one of these guys 5-year deal. You know, oh, let's get Chris Jones in here, or let's get Josh Allen. Let's give him $24 million a year times 5. I don't see him doing that. That's not the style of Brad Holmes. I could see them, you know, giving Chris Jones a 1-year, $20 million contract with incentives to get him over 30. You know, that's where you get these high price guys. You know, Brian Burns. I mean, they're even projecting him to get a 1-year deal. You know, you got a 1-year deal. That's the type of guy I think that we're going to get, because we're going to have leftover money because Brad has drafted so well. We're going to have leftover money to fill these roster spots out, and we might be able to pick up 1, maybe 2 of these higher priced guys on not long contracts. That doesn't mess with our future. That's what Chauncey Gardner was last year. He was a luxury pickup right here. Defensive interior. This is what we're looking for. That might be a little bit too rich for us. I don't think that we're going to just pay some guy $23 million coming off. So I don't think that Matabuke is going to be up our alley. Plus, they might franchise tag him, or they want to bring him back. Defensive interior, Christian Wilkins. This is the type of guy right there. 1 year. They're projecting a 1-year deal on him, Christian Wilkins. Now they're thinking he's going to get a franchise tag. So they want to get a long-term deal done with Christian Wilkins. Why wouldn't they? I mean, that team's loaded on offense. I mean, you're going to have to invest in your defense some point later, but, getting a 1-year deal somewhere right there. And there's Danielle Hunter. I know that's Chad's favorite. He probably just, liquefied all over himself, thinking that we could get Danielle Hunter. Let's look at some of these comments right here. Fred Peterson says that Mosley will be a Lion for the same reason we don't want him to, ACLs. Yeah, we love them ACLs, baby. He's coming back from ACL. That puts him right on the top of the list, right? Waterboy, they should just save and draft like they've been doing. Okay, that's where I was. Sometimes I lose my spot on these comments. My biggest asset needs to be that this happens, and I want it done now. Assign St. Brown to a lifetime deal, 5 to 7 years. When JJ gets his contract, St. Brown's will go up. Get him now. Let me bring up my slick little graphic, because I agree with you. Look at this. Pay this man right now. Pay this man right now.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. I want to see him be a Lion for life. Amon-Ra St. Brown defines what playing for the Detroit Lions should be, with his work ethic and everything that he brings to the table. Pay this man, Amon-Ra St. Brown, says the Villain Squad, says Fred Peterson. I'd say that he's like the head villain. But pay the man, and if you hit him on that 7-year deal, right? You hit him and you're getting him at $25 million per year. Remember, even though that seems like it's the high end, right? That seems like that's the high end of all the money that's being made, that's out there. But 5 years from now, that's going to seem like a deal. There's going to be stud wide receivers that are getting $35 million a year. And there you are with your stud wide receiver. Pay this man. Get Amon-Ra out there. I love these guys that, you want to go. This is like, going through these guys. This gives me something to talk about. We ain't going to sign any of these guys. I don't think so. I think we have enough money to get one of them. But like Fred says, right said Fred, pay Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It's my quarterback.
He's kind of our quarterback. I think that's important. You pay him. I think he's a higher priority than Jared Goff. Pay Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's go even further. Right there. And Chad agrees too. So we need to examine what we do at halftime to make some changes. What changes need to be made? Thank you, Barnett. Thank you, David. Here's the thing is, like, I think that the changes that they make at halftime, they are impactful and they do work. It's the third quarter, right? It usually doesn't get better until the fourth quarter, but then the fourth quarter, they take care of business. So I think it is the quickness, how quickly they can get into the new plan and, help fix that third quarter. I think they're fine at the end of game management. That's fine. You know, I mean, even on their losses, it isn't a matter of, you can look back and even at the NFC Championship, they had chances to win that game. You know, the things that Dan Campbell gets criticized for on the biggest end, being so aggressive, if those work, you know, if Josh Reynolds catches that ball, you know, the plays that were called, the coaches put the team in the position to win, and the players didn't make the plays. You know, sometimes it's opposite of that, but in this case, the coaches, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, gave the Lions a chance to win, you know, and Jared Goff gave us a chance to win. Josh Reynolds dropped that ball. You know, he doesn't drop the ball, then we're having a different question. You know, we're answering this question differently, aren't we, David? So, I mean, we want to make the team better, and better players, I also think, is going to help that too, David. So, and that's why we're in here. We're looking at some of these. These are the defensive. This is PFF right here. I love using PFF if you're wondering what you're looking at. But I use PFF, and this is the top rated defensive lineman that's on the interior and pass rushers is what we're looking at. Chad says Terrell Williams is a major D-line change. Yes, that is. That is. And actually today, and I'm glad you brought that up, Chad, is Terrell Williams gets some pretty high praise from the head coach, Dan Campbell. Okay. I mean, he's the best defensive line coach in all of football. And the caveat on top of that is, like, way back in the day when Brad Holmes was playing football, that Terrell Williams was his defensive line coach, which I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But let me get this in here. Yeah, general manager Brad Holmes. Yeah, I like that. You know, you like that? These guys are very quick to make the change. They make the change because it seemed like the old regimes would be too faithful to their, you know, to their old team that maybe wasn't that good. You know, and it seems like these guys are quick to make the changes. It seems like they got all cylinders firing on offense, and they had to make some changes on defense. And I like that they would do that. The bad guy. What's up? Say hello.
Say hello to my little friend.
Mosley, sure, 1-2 year deal, third string. He can earn his way to second string free agent and draft a quarterback. Here's the thing, guys, with Mosley. Mosley ain't going to be ready. I mean, he waited, 8 weeks, and now he's going to be rehabbing the other one. I mean, really, this guy is going to be there in spirit and in mind at the beginning. I can't see him coming back at any less than a year, you know, so we're looking, you know, week 10, 13. So we're going to have to wait for that type of player. And yeah, and I don't think he's going to be all that expensive, which would be the good thing. But he knows the defense now because he's been there. So I think it's a smart move. You want to bring in guys that know what the culture's already like. Right there, Fred Peterson agreeing. Brent says that they will take care of their own. And they were talking about that today. You want to take care of your own because you don't know how these guys are playing. You know, you can look at tape, and this is what Brad Holmes said. You can look at tape all day and be like, okay, this guy's got this and he's got that. He can, you know, get to the quarterback. But how do you know how he is as a person? How do you know how he is, you know, when he's going to get around the other players? And we've been down this road before, guys. You know, you bring in Matt Patricia. I don't even want to bring his name up. I hate even saying his name. You bring in Matt Patricia, and then you're like, oh, here comes Trey Flowers, the Patriot way. We're bringing in these guys. He's the number one free agent. And then, you pay him a gazillion dollars, and then you're expecting this guy from the outside to come in and save everything. Ain't nobody coming in from the outside saving nothing for this team. You supplement that, you want to bring in guys that are, your mainstays. And that's why I don't think it's going to happen on the defensive line in free agency. Let's take a more look at this right here. So we got Danielle Hunter, Leonard Williams. That's a guy right there that, you're looking 29. He's going to be 30 years old. You're talking about a guy that's probably looking for a championship. That's a guy that might come in for less money so he can be part of something. That's a wrecker right there. Leonard Williams, 6'5", 302. He's been a badass his whole damn career. I like that. Bryce Huff. There you go. Here's a guy coming on his second contract. And he dropped off a little bit. So these are guys with something to prove right there. DJ Reader, 29 years old. There you go. That's another run stuffer. That's a big dude in the middle right there. That's a guy that Broderick Martin could get behind. Only injuries have slowed him down. Well, that's the rest of the NFL too. Sorry about that. Chase Young, pass. He's been pretty good though. Unsigned, maybe you can bring him in as a gun for hire. That's what we're looking at in free agency. We need guns for hire. Which one of these guys can you get on a 1-year deal? Clowney, pass. Za'Darius Smith, there's another 1-year deal type of dude. He'll come in and impact your team. Look at these guys. Edge defender. Leonard Floyd. I don't know. I mean, do these guys got enough left in their tank? Do you guys want to take any flyers on these guys? Looking at some of these other guys to see if we got any. Trey Flowers was Patricia's lifeboat, and look where he ended up. That's what Fred says right there. I'm sorry I mentioned Matt Patricia, but Chad says the DB's coach that is replacing him. Let's bring up some information on that, because Lions passing game coordinator. That's what they're calling him. So let's look at this. Tanner Ingstring, passing game coordinator, right? No, that's on the other side. That's on the other side. Lions coaching hires. There we go. The passing game coordinator, defensive backs, Deshae Townsend. Now, Townsend used to play. I think that he played in Pittsburgh, right? Let's see what we got on him. Detroit coaching staff for 2024 season is rounding into place. The Detroit Lions hiring 48-year-old Deshae Townsend, a defensive passing game coordinator and cornerbacks coach. According to the Bleacher Report, NBC Sports, Bleacher Report's Jordan Schultz first reported the hiring. Townsend spent the last 2 seasons as defensive passing coordinator and defensive backs coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Previously worked coaching, he coached defensive backs for the Chicago Bears between 19 and 21. The New York Giants in 2018, and he coached defensive backs for the Tennessee Titans in 16 and 17, and the Arizona Cardinals in 11 and 12. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And his when he was a defensive back for the Pittsburgh Steelers from 98 until 2009. Right there. That's what I got on Townsend right there. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to take that down. So there. A little bit on Townsend. But, Dre Bly came in and we were hoping that he's going to be good. Our cornerbacks weren't that good last year, so they made a change. So John says, you're absolutely right. We're not going to go after the top guys. It's going to be a copy and paste of what we did last year. Second tier guys and that came in and did great things, a.k.a. Montgomery. And I think that's unfair to say that they're second tier guys. I mean, maybe second tier in pay. There are a lot of people that come out and get, the big time pay. Guys on their second contracts are going to get more money, and every year, especially on a year where they're going to raise the salary cap by $30 million. People are going to ask for a little bit more money. I think that they're going to be trying to take the top off of that. So that's why when I'm looking at these, I just want to be realistic here. You're going to be looking for these bargain guys. But, with John Kapler, we may see something off the beaten path here this year with that much money, with as much money as they have. They have enough to go and make a move. They got enough to make one big splash move. So that's what we're kind of going through here. Grover Stewart, any of these guys moving the needle for you? These guys are edge guys, but these guys are 3-4 dudes. Sheldon Rankins, here's a dude. That's a dude. Gun for hire. You'd be able to get him. I think that you could get him under $10 million for the 1 year. You throw some incentives on there. I like Rankins. I have liked Rankins. He's been pretty, and he was drafted to the New Orleans Saints. So Glenn's been around him before. Yeah, that one's sticking out to me out of these guys. Danico Autry. Let's look at that. Let's look at these right there. 6'5", 285. There we go. That's a dude. This is a dude right there. You know what else I like is he comes from the same place. Just like this next guy, T.R. Tart. Defensive interior, 26 years old. There's a guy you could bring in on a 2-year prove-it deal. 3 years at $10 million a year. There's your guy. That's a dude. Terrell Williams has been coaching this guy. He already knows. Fletcher Cox. I don't know. I mean, he's good. He's good, but we're trying to build young. These guys. Dorrance Armstrong. What do we got there? 255, I don't know there. Calais Campbell. There you go. Even older. Brandon Graham. There you go. There's a Michigan boy. Michigan boy coming in here. Let's go. Let's go. Daquan Jones. There's another dude. Big dude. So what do you think of that? There's your free agent. Who's your favorite guy out of that? Trustin Brad, David says. A little more improvement, and we are Super Bowl winners. Does anybody out there feel like we left the Super Bowl on the table? I kind of feel that way. I feel like we were good enough this year. And it fell short. And it fell short. I felt like it was there. It was there for us to take it. And, you can blame it on this or that. It's okay. I understand. I'm not a big blamer today. I mean, you move on. 31 teams lost. 31 teams lost. So, they're in the same boat. Jay Mommy. What's up, Jay Mommy? Good to see you on here. Yes, David, cornerbacks usually take years to develop. Defensive linemen often start great, don't they? Yes, I think that you're absolutely right in that. And we can move. We're going to pivot here because I want to go into the big board with that thought. Because I do believe that the Lions will draft cornerbacks, but you can get defensive linemen. You can get offensive linemen that can impact your team right off the get. And right where we're drafting in that second to third round deal, I think they're going to make their mark right there. Because what we need, Aleem McNeil is a pass rushing defensive tackle. He started out, they thought he was going to be the plug hole guy, but the reason they drafted Aleem is not what he's doing right now. The reason they drafted Levi Onwuzurike is what Aleem is excelling at right now. So Aleem is doing what they originally drafted Levi to do. So now they need an Aleem. That's why they drafted Broderick Martin for there. So they could be looking at some other guys right there in the middle of the big board. So let's see if we can get in here. Right there. So here's the big board. This is PFF right here. And our team needs, let's get in there. Detroit team needs. So, you got these cornerbacks, and I think we're going to be looking for these guys that have size. You want these outside cornerbacks, and there's a couple good ones right here. I could see the Lions wanting to trade up to draft some of these guys if they like. This Quinyon Mitchell's probably going to end up being the first corner taken if he keeps moving like he is. But if you look at these guys, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say potentially 7 corners that with first round grades when this is all said and done. You think all those guys are going to be gone? And that doesn't even include the Michigan boy. Where's that Michigan guy? There you go, Sandstro. That could right there. You could be looking at the Lions' second round pick right there. But then again, that size, I really think that the Lions are going to be looking, for the size. So, but what I like is these type of dudes right here. Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, this guy's been cross training. He can play at guard. Look at 6'3", 220. That's the number 1 interior offensive lineman on the board. And when you're drafting at 29, that's not the worst thing in the world. Chad says, would you trade the 29th pick for Max Crosby? He loves Detroit. Absolutely. If that's all that they were asking for, Chad, I would run to go make that trade. You would then have to pay him, but that's why you're glad that I'm not running the team, because I get excited over players, right? But here's the truth. is it wouldn't be a good move. It would upset the path that Brad Holmes is putting out there. I trust Brad Holmes to pick the guy at 29 that will be the next Max Crosby or whatever player at that position, and to have that player on a rookie contract. Does that answer your question? J Mommy, I hope it does. Martin did say that he was going to work out and get into better shape. Okay, so we're talking about Broderick Martin here. Now, Broderick Martin was drafted because he has God-given abilities that you can't teach. And I think that's when Brad Holmes says that he values a certain trait and says that if you start drafting for need, then you get into trouble because you would miss out on certain types of players. Broderick Martin was a very raw prospect, but he has the longest arms, you know, where they measured him out, and I don't know if it was the longest arms in combine history, but his length, you know, and the way that he can move his size was unique. Now, he was raw. They knew that they were going to have to develop him. I mean, he spent most of the year on the practice squad. It's the same type of deal when they drafted Derek Barnes. Because Derek Barnes, you know, he was a pass rusher, you know, half the time. And he played some linebacker. You know, he was raw. Took a couple years to develop him. I wouldn't say Ifatu was in that same category because they drafted him as a cornerback and, you know, he switched to safety out of need. But, hey, what's up? Vog's in the house. What's up, Vog? Vogel up in the house. Great to see you in here. J Mommy says the Lions do need offensive linemen who can play multiple positions. I got a hot take. That isn't exciting for everybody. But I think that the Lions will go into free agency and they will draft they will bring in a couple veteran cornerbacks, you know, on that Sutton level. Like, and like the bad guy, John Kapler, says that, you know, they're not going to overspend. They're going to be the cheap way, but they're going to bring in 2 quality cornerbacks from free agency. They're going to re-sign Glasgow. I don't know if they'll re-sign Jonah Jackson, but I put something up where I'm thinking, you know, everywhere Evan Brown is available. And that was a guy just 2 years ago that played really well at that swing guard center position. And he can start at guard, so can Glasgow. I think those are 2 you could probably get Glasgow and Evan Brown cheaper than you could get Jonah Jackson. You could get both of those guys. And then you have depth pieces. And then when you go into the draft at that point, then you're going into the draft, you know, not having, you know, a quote unquote need. And then you're just getting best player available. And Jackson Powers Johnson, that's a guy right there that would be a good Lion. And look at some of these other guys. Another center right here, Zach Frazier from West Virginia. When you're looking at these guys, you can cross-train a lot of these interior guys. You want these guys playing all 3 positions. And that way you got your center of the future. And it's a guy that can play guard right now off Ragnow is still here. Let's look at another one of these. Another guard, Christian Haynes. These are guys right here. When you're looking at the PFF rank on the left-hand side. Now, obviously, the combine's going to make these shift up and down a little bit. You know, They're not perfect on these, but you got a kid right here, Christian Haynes, that you can cross-train. Look at those scores right there. 83 overall. To have the best guard in the draft coming in, arguably. He's a road grader. This guy does both. Run snaps. He's given up 3 sacks in 3 years. 4 hits. That's value that you can get right there. You could probably get this guy in the 3rd round. 64th over. We have a couple 3rd round picks. People aren't going to be going crazy over these picks. Boston College. There's another. The offensive lineman factory. Boston College. Guy didn't give up any sacks this year at all. 800 snaps. 0 sacks. Pretty impressive. There's a guy you can get in the 3rd round. 85th prospect. Center. Cedric Van Pran. All-American. 0 sacks. 485 pass attempts. 0 sacks. It's impressive. Mason McCormick, South Dakota State. These guys are top 100 players that are top 5 at their position in the nation. We're set at skill position. Everybody else, they can take all these wide receivers and whatnot. This draft and free agency is set up pretty well for the Lions to get what they need. John, what's up, John? John's in the house, watching on Facebook. He says, think we'll go after Stephon Gilmore. Well, my partner, Main Event Mike, that was one of his calls right off the get-go. You bring in Stephon Gilmore, and I don't know how he's related to Stephen Gilmore, but I know that they're related. That's kind of cool. Get to learn from your family members and stuff. But yeah, he's still got some gas left in the tank when you look at his PFF scores. He's been solid his whole career. He's got a Super Bowl pedigree. Love that call. Love that call.
You like that?
Thank you, John, for the comment. Chad's like, don't you sleep on Chase Lucas being developed. Maybe he becomes a number 3 cornerback. In Brad we trust, right, Chad? Like Brad Holmes just seems to be able to pick these guys that they fit the pedigree of what we're doing. And here we are. Year 3, then you got a guy that's busting out like Derek Barnes and Ifeatu Melifonwu. There's our track record starting to develop there. I love that call.
You like that?
I love that call because Brad Holmes has some pretty amazing things that are tied to who he is. I got to go find that. Where you at, Brad? Where you at, Brad? All 23 of Brad Holmes' draft picks are still with the team. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is Football Talk with Russell Wayne. We're hitting the offseason. We're at the scouting combine. There's some young ex-college stars that are running in gym shorts right now. looking to make NFL teams better. What are the Lions gonna do? With a higher salary cap, do you think that the Lions go after some high-priced guys? That's what we've been discussing today. We've been just kind of going through the gambit. As we get more information on these guys, we'll be able to share some more information with you. And that's fun. That's fun, looking at these guys. Orlando says that I hope we get at least one Wolverine. Brent says that Broderick Martin could be could very well be a solid player this year. We don't know his development. But what we do know, Brent, is that he has 1 year of development in Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn's system. Dan Campbell commented on Hendon Hooker today. And it's been kind of different. I mean, I'm on record telling you right here that Jared Goff has earned that extension. But Brad Holmes ain't committing on that way. He's not talking about it. They may not extend Jared Goff this offseason. They don't have to. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into, paying Jared Goff with the top, franchise tag next year if he plays it out. But if they like the development of one Hendon Hooker, then there's really no need to extend Jared Goff. You let him play out his contract, and it's a natural thing. And then you got Hendon Hooker on 2 years of a rookie deal after developing him for 2 years. I mean, if that was the plan the whole time, would that hurt your feelings? I like Jared Goff. I do. But the more I'm thinking about it, extending Jared Goff isn't a priority. Got me all emotional. It's got me all emotional. Took us to the NFC Championship. And really, he played well enough for us to go to the Super Bowl. So he's got me all emotional. But emotion, Brad Holmes you're not paying to be emotional. He's being paid to run the team. And if they like the development of Hendon Hooker, there he is. That's how you want to build your teams. You got to have sometimes your best players got to be on rookie contracts. And it doesn't have to be a quarterback. Right now, we don't have a rookie contract quarterback. But we have a left tackle, or I should say a right tackle. You got a defensive end on a cheap deal. You got to keep on having players on cheap deals. You got 4 first-round talents last year that you don't have to pay for 3 years. That's a window. You got players that could be top 10 at their positions. So who's that going to be? Finishing out these comments here, and then I'm going to take off. Brent says that NFL is a business and believe that Brad Holmes looks at it that way. And thank God that he does. Thank God. David Barnett says with the injuries to Big V, Frank, Jackson, and Taylor, we showed up. We showed a need for offensive line depth, and you're correct in that. But you do have a solidness. So Big V isn't going to play with us next year. And I think that that's pretty much a foregone conclusion. I don't know if Jackson will be there either. But your cornerstones, especially if you extend Decker like you should. But you got Decker, Sewell, and Ragnow. And Frank just kind of proved last year that through that injury, he don't care. I don't give a shit. My foot hurts. It can hurt forever. He's still one of the best in the league, even with the injury. So you got that shored up, and now you got to get Young there. You're looking good in the now for offensive line, but you got to set the future up. And that's going to be a little bit of free agency and draft. But I love that call. Orlando says 50 plus million a year. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't sign him at that. I don't think that we're going to sign him at that either. Nope. I mean, what they've said, sometimes they say things by not saying things. And when they don't say things, you know, when they asked about the Goff contracts, you know, out of respect, you know, we're going to blah, 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 a bunch of coach speak. You know, they're non-committal to Jared Goff. You know, and we'll give him the accolades. He played well within our system. He's made players better. Jared Goff is probably the most disrespected quarterback in the NFL. And I've heard that put out there before. And I think it's true. All the guy has done the last 2 years is put up top 10 numbers. But yet people talk about him like he's a bottom 10 quarterback. Jared Goff's badass. He's a stud. Yeah, but you got to protect him. You got to protect every quarterback. Yeah, but I want one that's going to be mobile. You don't need one that's going to be mobile. Those aren't the ones that win. The mobile ones aren't the ones that win. Signed Lamar Jackson. You know, I'm the MVP. I'm the MVP. Well, he ain't winning titles. And I'll tell you what, that Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not going to call him lucky, but, you know, he gets a whole hell of a lot of credit for, you know, this year the defense carried them to that Super Bowl title. But he didn't have anybody. Patrick Mahomes changed what everybody thought. Oh, you can't win with paying those quarterbacks all that money. Well, I guess you can. Is he an anomaly? I mean, yeah, all you gotta do is build around him. Yeah, if you're Tom Brady, if you're Patrick Mahomes, now that you can't start there. You can't start there. Football talk with Russell Wayne. Chad says if we franchise Goff in 2 years, it'll be around 48 million. Yeah. And let me ask you this, Chad, and I'll ask this to everybody that's out there. I mean, that's the smartest play, isn't it? When you think about it, that's the smartest play. You got Jared Goff right now on this contract. Oh, wait, let me get in here. You got Jared Goff in here on this contract at $32 million cap number, and your cap space with him under contract is $56 million. There's no reason to rush and do this. They're not in any trouble to do it. Honestly, the only reason that you would want to extend Goff is if you did want to bring in Chris Jones, right? If you want to bring in one of these super studs, you know, on a 1 or 2 year deal, you can extend Jared Goff and you could free up 15 to 20 extra $1 million for this year. If you really wanted to go all in and win, and that would make you committed to Jared Goff for this year and next year instead of just this year. But if you wanted to do that, you could do that. That would be the only reason. Because outside of that, I mean, you have him. He's on your damn team. So you can go all in with this $56 million, not needing a quarterback, not needing a running back, not needing a wide receiver, not needing a tight end. I mean, that's not entirely true. You could need a tight end, but you don't. You can bring back Brock Wright for a bag of chips, and I'll be. But Chad, you're absolutely right. The smartest play, absolutely, is to just let Goff play his contract out. Because what if you guys did just strike gold? What if they did hit with this Hendon Hooker thing? And there you go. Boom. You got a natural flow. And guess what? If Goff leaves into free agency, guess what? You get a 3rd round pick in the compensatory draft. We can play that game now. So don't think that losing these players is necessarily the worst thing in the world. When you start thinking of losing a guy like Derek Barnes, right? Oh my God, they got to re-sign Barnes. They got to re-sign Aleem. Okay. Well, let me ask this. Could you trade Derek Barnes for a 3rd round pick? Maybe. Could you trade Aleem McNeil for a 3rd round pick? Maybe. Probably there. So when you think about it like that, okay, I can trade him for a 3rd round pick. That's what we drafted him in. You know, if he starts playing these games, right? Derek Barnes was drafted in the 4th round. If he leaves and goes and signs a $15 million a year deal with, you know, the Arizona Cardinals, then we get a 3rd round pick. You drafted a guy, he played on a rookie deal for 4 years, leaves, and then you get a better draft pick in return. That's what happens when you draft well. You don't have to sign all these players. Keep the guys you want. Keep the ones that are over and above better. Gosh, I'm over. It's a good conversation today, but we're going to pick it back up tomorrow right here. This has been Football Talk with Russell Wayne. I know it's day 2, season 3 of Football Talk with Russell Wayne. We're going in the afternoons now. 3 p.m. Don't forget about Jeremy B in the morning, still doing that morning show at 11 a.m. He's been breaking down all these combine guys. We've been breaking down all these combine guys. We're going to keep you in there. Join the conversation. Please go over to our page. Follow the Villain Squad. Become one of the 47,000 villains that took this journey with us all the way to the NFC Championship this year. And join the conversation. We put posts up. We are in there 365 days a year. There is a conversation on that page. Go in there and find something that you like. Answer the questions. I don't know, because we want to know what you think. We're just a couple knuckleheads with a podcast on here, and I'm solo today, so I said a couple people, but sometimes main event Mike's on here. So faith, family, and football. That's what we preach. Right there in the description, we got a link to our giving link. And our giving link, where we are doing outreach. Our church is doing outreach. NTC Church on the corner of Bristol-Belsey Road in Genesee County, Burton, Michigan. They're out doing good things. Pastor Kevin Galloway is a person of action. He wants to get out into the community and make the world a better place. And there's action to that. They're serving Genesee County. So if you're using that link, that's what you're helping right there. So faith, family, and football, providing some hope for somebody that wouldn't normally have hope. So the family and football part, that's easy. 365-day schedule right here with the Villain Squad. Use football to spend time with your family. Don't let football use you. And may the Lord bless you, and may the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Football Talk with Russell Wayne. Peace out.
What's up, y'all? This is Ifeatu Melifonwu, safety for the Detroit Lions. And I just want to take some time out to give a big shout out to Russell Wayne and Main Event Mike from the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. It's a fan page and a podcast. And I just want to say I appreciate the support of me and my team. And I encourage everyone to go check out their podcast and check out their fan page. Go Lions.